Well, Utah Congressman Burgess Owens played. He's joining us, a defensive back in the NFL for the New York Jets, and then won the Super Bowl 15 with the Oakland Raiders. It's an honor to have you on, Congressman. Thank you so much for that. We do appreciate it. I'm sure this brings back fond memories for you taking a look at these pictures, and I'm sure for many of our viewers and fans of you along the way here. Several topics to talk to you about that are happening on Capitol Hill, but I want to talk to you about something that's happening in Sin City here, something that's been going on since 2020. The Black National Anthem, as it's been dubbed, has been played at the Super Bowl every year since 2020 after the Black Lives Matter riots, after the death of George Floyd. But it's getting more criticism each year. It's not because of the song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, but rather it being an anthem played either right before the national anthem. Many people say this country only has one anthem. Do you have any thoughts on that and this being played at one of the biggest televised events in American programming?
Well, first of all, Sean, and thanks so much for this opportunity. Yes, we have one national anthem. It's one that's been played for decades. It's the same one that when I was standing on the sidelines in the NFL, tears would come to my eyes just thinking about the opportunity that I had to live the American dream. And I'll say this, the founders of the NFL will be very, very ashamed of what has happened with this Goodell and this group of leftists, what's going on in the NFL. One thing I've always thought is that the military and athletics is the one place they could never divide us. That's a place of meritocracy. It doesn't matter what your color, your race, none of that matters. The bottom line is you have the singular goal is to win. Well, leave it to the left, to this Marxist, to find a way to divide us. We're finding it in the military, where now we have such a low group of people becoming, getting into that industry because of the divisiveness. We now see it in NFL, and we now see it in NBA. So this is a chance for us to finally say, no, we have one national anthem. Let's be proud of that. What you're going to find is people not standing for the Black national anthem, quote, and those not standing for our normal national anthem. And that's not what America's all about. We need to get back to the bottom line. We, the people, have so much more in common and a remarkable history of how we've overcome. We need to focus on that, get this mess out of our educational system that's dividing us, and recognize we have corporations like right now the NBA and the NFL who's focused more on their profitability. In this case, Goodell makes over $40 million a year. Now, that's not enough. It needs more power. It needs more entry into the China. So we understand these are folks who do not care about our country, but are looking at dividing us in so many different ways. We just cannot allow that to continue to happen.
So interesting. Well said, sir. We've got to talk about another thing dividing our country, and that, quite frankly, is what's happening at our southern border. You've got politicians who are seeing the crisis in totally different lights. In fact, you've got House Republicans who are saying DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has to go, and he's saying it's Congress's fault. They aren't coming together and helping us out at the southern border. Sir, how do you see it?
Well, first of all, this guy is a one of a kind. I sat on the judiciary last year, and I sat and watched as he lied to us with a smile on his face. And he's hearing these numbers of over 100,000 Americans being killed by fentanyl. He's seeing all this tens of thousands of immigrants dying as they try to come here, and he has no concern about this. So this is a very timely topic. I think something that every American should be looking at, and I don't care what side of the aisle we're on. If we care about our country, we care about our culture, we need to take a look at people like this that purposely break the law and deal with them and get them out of it. Have them do something totally different, because at the end of the day, our country needs to be a sovereign place, a safe place. And I'll say this, the upside of the fact that it's going to all these blue cities, everybody understands now that every state is a border state. Everybody understands now what it is to be overwhelmed with a system that's purposely making us miserable so we can vote in a different direction. So Democrats have one philosophy, to use misery as a political strategy, and you're seeing it right in your face at this point, and Americans will not stand for this.
And many people know, and many Americans know, that the president does indeed have executive authority to enact certain policies at the border that could really deter illegal migration from happening. It seems to be a rhetoric that is spun to be pushed off on Congress, on you, sir, on Democrats alike, that it needs to be done in Congress. Nothing that can be done from the Resolute desk that we know is untrue. I wanted to move really quickly, if we can get your comments on this. I know you have to go, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this. 3 Americans losing their life in that deadly Jordan drone attack by Iranian-backed proxies that we know of. that was released by U.S. officials. 3 service members dead, 30+ injured. Can you talk to us about that? And again, the 159 attacks, a little more than that have been happening on U.S. areas around the Middle East. This seems to be escalating again to the point of American soldiers losing their life.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Sean, first of all, we've seen this for the last, month and a half, over 100 attacks. It wasn't a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. It's not 3, by the way. We lost another 2 Navy SEALs this last week.
Yeah.
What is amazing to me is that this administration seems to be clueless in terms of what it is to stand strong, to stand boldly, and to understand how to deal with bullies and evil regimes. They'd rather appease instead of dealing with the issues and making sure they understand there will be a price to be paid. It is sad, so sad, that these reservists, these are folks that young men, young women and a young man that are not full-time military, they're reservists. They went there to serve our country, and they won't be coming home to their families. This is what's going to continue to happen. We have a president who's totally clueless, who's totally about an appeasement. And by the way, just one quick thing. Keep in mind something called Cloven-Piven Act strategy. It was done back in the 1960s to overwhelm these 2 socialists and Marxists, to overwhelm our system in terms of welfare. We're now dealing with that today. So much is coming at us that we're now in a position of people getting hopeless, and they're willing to do anything to just help the government. Please help us to get out of this. That's not the American way. We're not going to go that way. We're going to make sure we stand strong and against those who try to make us dependent on the few that's at the very top, these elitists. We're not going to let it happen. And American people waking up across our country. I'm very, very excited to see that happen.
All right. We'll have to leave it right there. Thanks for coming on today. Utah Congressman Burgess Owens. Appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All the best.